thank you so much for having us. So, just to explain a bit about myself and where we come from, shall we say. So, obviously, I work for Nick under the Safety Task Force. And Planning for Delivery is a programme that is there to look after three elements to make a business change in Network Rail. And there's three elements to that. The first part is actually looking at the right information. And that is to do with, do we provide that end user with the right information for them to carry out their work? And with that, what we're looking at is actually simplifying the 019 standard. Because if you talk to people today, people still don't get it, which means that we're not doing the right thing from the centre to allow people to undertake their work safely. The second one is looking at capability, or shall we call it the capability of a person in charge. Currently, their capability today, but we need to think about possibility of introducing it as a competency, which we can then measure and improve upon our people on a day undertaking work. And the third one, which is these two gentlemen here, is to talk about RailHub, which is the technology and the important part of bringing all three together to make a business change. And it can only be done with those three things in place. Now, the success of what we've done is insurmountable, I believe, because we've been here before. And I'm sure you can understand when I say proficient, when I say the early ways of working, shall we say. So this way of what we've done today has only been done by collaborative working between a lot of companies out there, the likes of EY, the likes of Capgemini, Arabs, ourselves, and on track to make sure that we've got something that's fit for purpose. So why are we here? It's all to do with safety. More than anything else, it's to do with safety. When Nick put the slides at the start about Gareth and Spike, it really, truly rang home to me, because the day after that happened, I was going for investment by group panel for £69 million for safety. And you could hear a pin drop when I asked for that money to do safety, having Margam happen the day before. So this absolutely rings true to me about we need to be better at safety for our people on either line. It's an integrated system. Chris is going to show it in a minute. It's there to create safe foot packs, a digital safe foot pack for our people out there, and it's also there to do with line blocks as well, how we book line blocks for ourselves and the industry as well. And this way we're doing it, and Haj will show you in a minute, the efficiencies we are showing, not from a safety, but also from efficiencies of how we work and plan. It's there to be seen already in some of the routes. And obviously, by doing this, we become compliant to the standard and being safer that way. And that will then reduce the number of near misses, fatality we have out there, and drive us to be safer and better as a community. So what is it in a nutshell? Well, it's a safe foot pack. It's the way we've worked this one. It's a mobile safe foot pack, so people can use it on a digital way. It's got a line blocker solution, which is there for their users and industry colleagues to use, and it's integrated with a lot of the systems we've got today. That's the fun part of it, shall we say, we've said. But making the integration with our current systems allow the planner to plan better, safer, using the systems and data we have to date, which is important to us. You can see at the bottom there the different integrations we've got, the sectional appendix, the signal diagrams, access points, which is important to us, welfare and emergency information, the data model we've got in Network Rail, the competencies through Sentinel, so we check Sentinels as we come on. So we're allowing, or only allowing people with competency to tie it into the safe foot pack to deliver work on our railworks. We're tied into Ellipse, the signal boxes, contact numbers, electrical control room, and PPS as well. So you can see an array of different integrations that we've done to have it all in one box to allow the planner to plan, the responsible manager to authorise a pack in the right way, and the person in charge first to verify it and to also make sure they're comfortable with it before delivering it out on site with the right safe foot pack. So that, in a nutshell, is what it is. And Haj now is going to tell you how the heck are we going to get 22,000 people onto the system between January and November of this year. I'm saying again, 22,000 people onto this platform, that some parts are not tech savvy, as you can imagine. Thank you.
Thank you, Dylan. So this slide kind of captures our snapshot in terms of where we are as a program. But essentially, the key message here that Rupert's expounded, that Nick's talked about, is the core mission statement was getting everyone home safe every day. And what underpins that is the 019 standard. And the main aim of this solution is to actually drive the behavior and cultural change. So it's to make sure that when the planners are planning their work, they have the right tools to them in terms of information, geospatially, the right asset data, so they can plan. And then we make sure that we're compliant. So we make sure that once the planner is planned, the PIC verifies, and the RM authorizes. And that's done in the Network Rail Rail Hub system. And as Dylan said, it's available in desktop and in mobile platform. Now, taking that technology, it is not the most innovative in the world, but for Network Rail as an organization, it is innovative because you're moving from a paper-based world to a digital world. And that is underpinned by the key issues we face, really, is the behavioral and the cultural change from the ways that they work today to what they need to do. And one of the stats that we've got, just before we go into further detail, is last year when we delivered Rail Hub, we had a trial in the central route, which informed the consultation paper with the unions. And the early work we've seen is, just from an error reduction rate, in the central route, in Sandwell and Dudley, they were rejecting about 38 to 40% of packs based on errors. That is now at 12%. And the only change that we've seen is the introduction of Rail Hub. So with all of that, the core to us is, what I say there, is the 6 personas. So the heart of everything we do is to look at a human-centered approach. The core to this are the planners, the PICs, the RMs, planning assistants, and the signalers. And every decision we made was based on what is the right way to deliver this technology for them. Anyone can deliver a shiny new tool, but it's the embedment of that and the adoption of that which is the key here. So the challenge for us is, we've got 13 routes. Each route is like its own little kingdom and has its own ways of working and how they want to deliver. We've got 22,000 people to onboard, of which 18,000 need to be trained face-to-face. So right now, we've got 18 trainers out every single day across 2 routes where we deliver the training face-to-face for the PICs and the planners. And that includes daytime and nighttime. We then also have the cutovers. So how do we minimize any operational impact? But at the core, make sure it's safe to cut over and the business is ready to adopt the change. So that's kind of been the core of where we are. And in order to actually get across that journey, it's the engagement story. So we kicked off in 2020, and basically we had a great kickoff event. Dylan hosted it. He got everyone together. We even had the investigators from the Margam incident to make sure that we understood the importance of why we are delivering what we're delivering. And literally 4 weeks later, we entered COVID. So again, innovatively, everyone had to do this. We had to work out how was the best way to deliver this, not from a technology standpoint, everyone's used to working virtually, but from how we engage. And we conducted 13 product validation sessions and over 40 demonstrations to make sure we cast the net as wide as we could to get what it is that these individuals needed this system to be, what challenges it was addressing, and how do we make sure it's compliant. We made sure we engaged all the various departments, not just focusing on maintenance, but making sure we included our supply chain colleagues, making sure we included capital delivery, RSIT, safety task force, etc. All regions were engaged, and you can see from the multiple different roles we've got there. Now, that journey was also to validate the product, but we also needed their input to say, how do we operationally cut over from the old world into the new world? What is the operational impact when you cross boundaries? How do we make sure it's safe for everybody? And they were the key to this. And finally, when we did the testing, we had over 300 people in 30 plus user acceptance testing, as throwing us every curveball under the sun in terms of how do you actually create the craziest pack known to person and how do you deliver it? And that actually gave us great valuable insight, because whilst product gave us X, the testing is where the value is to actually understand how it's going to be used operationally. Once it was delivered last year and post the trial, we then went into a deployment strategy. First to Central, that was a trial site originally, and we had that for our union consultation. Once we went through consultation, we delivered to the rest of Central, West Coast South, and Northwest. That region is now fully transferred across to Rail Hub and away from SALPS. And now we've just recently started in Wales and Western, where we've completed the teaching, and we're now about to go to cutover into the next 2 weeks. The key to this is that we've taken it route by route to make sure we can consolidate, understand the needs, complete it, and then we move on to the next route, and making sure we leave a legacy of change champions as well as PG-led support to make sure it's actually delivered in the main. I'm now going to hand over to Chris, who's just going to talk you through the actual solution itself.
Thanks, Harj. So we did plan initially to do a live demonstration of our ASWP mobile app today, but it turned out to be a bit too complicated to get everything connected to the projector. So what we have done is we've recorded a video, and I'm going to try my best to talk it through with you in sync, so bear with me. To give you a bit of background on the ASWP tool, there's multiple steps that come before this, as you can imagine. In case you're not aware, there's a planning step, so a planner will go in and create that safe work pack. And as Harj touched on as well, there's also some acceptance and verifying that needs to go along there as well. So a person in charge, once that pack's been created, will log into the desktop system, view and verify that to say that they're happy to use it. And then after that, the responsible manager will also log in and authorize that pack. And only then will that become available on the mobile app. So we're only showing you a very small snippet of the system today. It's worth knowing before we just start the video is that the ASWP mobile app has been designed for offline mode. So you can literally take it anywhere you want. Once it's downloaded to your device, all that information is stored locally. So you can go outside, and if you end up going into a tunnel where there's no data connection, you can still complete the work and see all the information you need. So I'll start the video now. So this is the mobile app. So this is what we call the mobile packs register. So this is where any pack that's available to you as an individual, as a person in charge, will live. What you can do is, to use it, you just simply select the pack you want. Like so, you get given some high-level information about it. Click download, and then that pack is then downloaded and stored locally on your device, and it's ready to go. Like so. So we work tirelessly with the team to produce the most slick, easy-to-use system we could possibly create. So we broke it up into 6 different sections along the bottom of the screen. Sorry, I have to keep looking that way just to know where the video is. With one goal in mind, to be able to get anywhere within that safe work pack within 3 clicks, or touches in this case, on the device. So the first section we're looking at here, I'll give you a little overview of each section before we go through, is the briefing section. Self-explanatory, gives you some high-level information about your safe work pack, such as who's accepting it, what the pack number is, what the ELR and mileage of your site of work is, your nature of work, and obvious information such as your access and egress points. So if you look along the bottom of the screen, we have those 6 options there. And if you move from left to right, we'll now move on to the next one, which is forms. The video catches up in a second. So the form section contains all of your pro formas that you would need to complete your work. Anything from the SOP validation form to the RT9909 form, all the way through to line blockages. So if you look at the top of the screen here, you can see you've got your 3 options at the top, and on the left, the selected option, the orange one, is your SWP validation form. A user can simply select with the finger to move seamlessly through the different forms. We'll get there in a second. Here we have the RT9909 form, including all its subsections, and finally the NR3180 line blockage form, if applicable to your safe work pack. Again, moving along the bottom, we're going to now touch on some of the integration points that Dylan mentioned earlier. So we're going to move along to source data. Now this section contains all of the source data you would need to complete your work on site. If you look at the top of the screen again, we've got the 5 different areas of source data, and what you can see on the screen here is signal diagrams. Now this works very much like how your Photos app would work on your phone. You can swipe left and right. You can also pinch to zoom if you need to see the information more clearly, like so. We also have sectional appendices in here, which is part of our integration, and that works exactly the same way. So it's very simple to use. Pinch to zoom, swipe left to right. We also have gradient information as well of your chosen site of work. Then we have National Hazard Directory data. It also includes a search feature as well at the very top. So rather than flicking through reams and reams of paper trying to find a particular hazard, you can simply do a quick search at the top to locate the exact hazard you're looking for. And then finally, we have track safety hazards, which is a subset of hazards, such as red zone working prohibited areas, taken into its own section. The next stage is what we have maps. So we have a visualization tool, a geospatial section. All of this information can be cached, so it can be used offline as well. The user can have visibility of their access point, egress points, alternative access points, and also any local hospital information. And with this we also have on and offline directions, depending if you've got a data connection or not. Like so, and the user can simply seamlessly select each option to see what's available. The next one is the emergency tab. Very self-explanatory. With one click of a button, you have instant access to anything you would need in case of emergency, whether that be signal box information, ECR, ECO information, or any emergency arrangements. And then finally, in the other section, we have offline directions that I mentioned earlier, a electronic sight and distance calculator, and finally, the network rail life-saving rules. So that's kind of the look and feel of the mobile app. And a user can now use the app just as they would a piece of paper. The only difference being is you will be using a keyboard and touch rather than a pencil or a pen. If I'm going to jump back to the form section here, one area I would like to show you is how a user would sign into this pack. And we mentioned earlier about our integration into Sentinel, the competency management system. So me, as the person in charge, if I was going to accept this pack, I would have to be checked that I have the correct competency to do so. So on the screen here, I'm in the correct form. I can accept or reject that pack by pressing the button at the top. Then I can press Scan Sentinel card. And at this point, I can hold my card up, scan it. It will take all the information from my card, connect to Sentinel, and come back and let me know if I've got the correct valid competencies to do the work. In this case, I have, which is great. It's filled in my Sentinel card details and my date and time. I can then click and physically sign on screen. Once that's done, that's electronically sent back to the system, and it will notify anybody back in the depot, wherever they may be, that this pack has been accepted and ready to go. What we've done as well, and here we've made multiple mandatory fields, such as, in this case, we're looking at our safe system of work. So when this work was planned, you can see in the little table there that someone has planned us to work in a fenced zone, as you can see there. And underneath, you can see where the A is asking me to fill in my actionable. And it's very important because providing I either use fenced or go up the hierarchy, that's fine. But if I choose to downgrade, in other words, I'm going to make my work less safe, I then have to contact my responsible manager, and unless I'm given a valid code from that desktop and enter it into the mobile app, there's no way I can downgrade my safe system of work. So we've got a lot of mandatory fields in there and a lot of mandatory things which require authorization. Once all that's completed, the user can then simply select the top corner of the screen and return that safe work pack electronically. All that information is then pushed digitally back to the desktop, which is stored for audit trail purposes and for reporting purposes. Another key area at this point is we always ask the person in charge before they push that information back, is there anything they would like to feedback? Is there any improvements they can make? So I could highlight an error within my safe work pack, which has that sort of 360 continuous improvement built into the system as well. Thank you very much.